Hola a todos, welcome back to Blancos Talks Madrid. I did promise you, man, it's going to be back with the stream today, and I did promise you, man, I was going to bring in some new people, or I say new. It's practically one new. My man down there has been here now from the start. This is my new guy in him, man like Dali, you know what we're saying, Dali, you good?
Yeah, man, doing good. How about you?
Oh, just fine, mate, just fine. Can't wait to kick this show off. Sorry, what are you saying, my brother, you good?
Oh, I'm doing well today. It's a Friday. What are we?
Come on.
16 days away from preseason? Not even. I think we're a few less than that. Seems like before you know it, we're going to be, in the full swing of things. So enjoy the summer break while we can.
Oh, 100%, man, 100%. Listen, man, you know how this goes. Just smash the likes up and subscribe while you're at it, yeah? So, yeah, let's just crack this show around in it, shall we? Obviously, there's been a couple of things happening now. There's reports now Konate is now getting a new deal. He might sign this. Dalia, I think you've seen it, Savi. I think you might have seen it as well. I want to ask you, man, this. If this happens, what is going to happen with our defense now? Like, are they going to trust Martinez now from the academy? And my only question is then, how much are we going to sit there and have to rely on him now in it? And what does this mean for someone like Saliba? Is that guy now the long-term target? Dali, since you're the new guy, I'll let you start and then I'll come to Savi in it. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. I was going to say, Konate, I don't know about the guy. I mean, at the same time, he looks like a good player, French international, everything like that. I do think he's getting carried by Virgil van Dijk a little bit. I think that's exactly what's happening with it. But I think it would be a good signing, overall. Now, if he does sign an extension with Liverpool, I'd rather it happen now than it gets dragged along and stuff like that. And we can't make any adjustments and stuff. I think he will sign an extension. And then, honestly, I really don't think it'd be like Martinez. I think it'd probably be the new signings of a David Alaba, of a Militao, is, the quote-unquote new signings that we love to see and stuff like that. Now, can you trust them? Not at all. Not at all. I'm hoping Militao actually looked good, but we saw 12 minutes of him, so take it for what you can. Ruder looks like he should be heading to Saudi probably next season. And Asensio, in my opinion, was the best center back last year, but, man, he was awful in the Club World Cup. So I think we're honestly probably going to be, with the center backs that we have now, that's probably what we're going to be doing going into the season too. And unfortunately, the way that Real Madrid operates, we don't really go into the market in the winter transfer window. So I don't think we're going to be doing anything like that or either. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. On my side, Sam, I know you're going to be the first person probably upset about the Konate information. I'm here to tell you, I'm not as worried probably as you are about the Konate potentially not coming situation. I've always been kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the guy. I understood that if we brought him in, it would be an immediate improvement on this team potentially. However, I don't think this is a big miss if we don't get the guy. To be candid with you, there are, as we've discussed multiple times, center back options that the club is looking at internally. We saw today that Joan Martinez is starting. Sorry about that. I'm going to get confused all season with Barca.
No worries.
That's all good.
However, what we've seen is that Arbeloa has been given the trust of the youth team. We've brought in signings, by the way. We paid like $900,000 for that Moroccan kid. We brought in a few other players to be in Castilla, and I really think the club is actually going to be looking at this Castilla team in particular under Arbeloa for some potential future reinforcements. Don't be surprised if Diego Aguado gets some minutes at left center back. Don't be surprised if they give a look at Joan Martinez maybe in the Copa del Rey if he looks good in his first couple games.
I was going to ask you, is he ready?
He's got the talent, but I mean, we got to know what the knee looks like, right?
He's coming back from ACL.
It's hard to make that, I guess, assumption as of today. However, the club knows what his talent level is. And the fact that they're really trusting him to walk into Castilla and start tomorrow. Remember, he's only 17, so he's playing with Castilla, who goes up to 23 years old, 21 years old. He's gonna be playing against grown men in in the youth, well, not the youth leagues, but the lower leagues of Spain. So for me, on the Konate front, if it meant bringing him in with a massive signing on fee and big wages or not, I'm all right with potentially not bringing him in, with potentially keeping an eye out on next summer for that other guy, maybe from Arsenal, who really could actually elevate the back line. So we'll see.
And I was just going to get to him as well now. What does this mean for Saliba now, from Madrid's point of view? Because I think what Real Madrid are not going to probably hope for is Arsenal go trophyless again. Because I think I've kept it consistent with this energy, Dahlia, sorry, with this. If Arsenal go trophyless again, I don't think Saliba will sign a new deal. And that's when I think the club will strike. Do you guys think now he's a more realistic option now? Saliba now looking at Konate might slip away that side and Saliba still haven't signed a new deal. Do you guys still think that possibility still exists now?
Yeah, the thing with Saliba, the thing with Konate, that kind of came up after the Saliba thing. Saliba's kind of been the long, he's been the Bellingham of the defense. That's what they've called him multiple times and stuff like that. I'm looking right now, 2027 is when the contract expires. He's 24 right now. That means he'll be 25 next year. That's the perfect time to be bringing him in now. Will Arsenal be willing to sell him? And if they are willing to sell him, his market value right now is 80 million. I can't imagine that we'd be willing to pay more than 50, 60 million, something like that. Something in the Dean house, maybe a little above that. I can't imagine we're paying 80 million. And so that's the whole thing too. It's not that next year he'll be on a free.
Yeah, he's going to have 1 year left.
So, yeah, I guess he could probably tell Arsenal, like, I'm not signing. So if you guys don't do anything, I'm just going to walk in a free in 2027. We've seen that happen before, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we get Saliba this offseason at all, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think Saliba's coming this year. I don't even think that's a 2025 conversation. Also, Sam, I've said this in your previous, episodes, but when it comes to kind of talking about 1 year from now, I never want to make the mistake of assuming anything, right? We saw 7 years of Mbappe not coming here. A year ago, Dean Howson, my bad, wasn't even on our radar. And this is my point. We don't know if there's going to be another center back who's highly talented right now, who just gets a chance at a club this year, who all of a sudden is available next summer, right? Like Dean Howson. Where was he on our radar a year ago? Would you have thought that he'd be Real Madrid starter?
I hear that.
Like you just don't know.
But look at this comment from Rabona. I think she sums it up perfectly. The thing is, this man is obsessed with him now. This is the thing. And if he's obsessed, we both know what happens when he's obsessed with someone. I think us all three have seen what this guy does. Yep. He'll do anything to get him there, which is my point.
Saliba's a good defender. I'm not doubting his talent. But my point being is, especially with these Prem players, there's big wage packages. We're dealing with clubs that don't have any need to really sell these players, right? Prem teams operate kind of within a different paradigm in this sense. And that's my point here is, if you've noticed, the players we've pretty much taken from the Prem besides Dean have been free on a free transfer, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there's a reason behind that. And that's why I also don't want to assume, because again, you never know. In a year, there's 12 months. A lot of things can happen. There's a World Cup to play. I don't want to wish injury upon anybody, but what if he gets hurt? True. The guy's had a perfect history. Yeah, this is one thing I also mentioned last time is he's been very healthy at Arsenal up to this point. In fact, I believe he's close to Konate in performances. Is he not already? And he's played less years. And that's my point is, if he's been healthy, and I warned you last time, my biggest concern with Saliba isn't the talent level. If you go into the advanced metrics, he's actually pretty bad at headers as well. But my main concern with Saliba specifically is he's been healthy and gotten all these appearances already in his career. Are we guaranteed in the back half of his career that he's going to maintain this level of health? And if that's not the case, then is it worth paying, as Dali mentioned, the 80 million, 90 million, at least with Dean? Dean's 20 years old. We're buying future potential. With Saliba, he's 27, right? Or turning 27 already, so he'll be 28 by the time he's coming.
No, 25. He'll be 28.
Oh, he's 25?
Yep.
That's actually a good age. All right, so my concern level does go down somewhat, but I do know that he's been very healthy at his time at Arsenal. I get a little bit skeptical when I start to think of Hazard.
And I've got Arsenal fans in. I've got lots of Arsenal fans. I know I've got McCall. I've got man like you on T as well. Big up, my bro. They've all pretty much been consistent that the reason why these man gets injured is because the manager overplays these players a lot, and he does. He barely gives them rest. This is an issue with who they're playing under. This is the issue that we have now, or that they have. Sorry, and unfortunately, Saliba's going to have to somehow survive that. And yeah, he's got what, 2 hamstring? I think he's got already. One kept him out for the season. One he got at the end of the season, which really didn't mean anything because it was 2 games left of the season. So it was just like, hey, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens. I man like Deco in the chat. Look at this guy. Yeah, now you want to turn up, you fraud. Yeah, but I ain't seen you in my chat before ever. Are you fraud? Big up to you, man. I hope you're
What a surprise.
Yeah, well,
I honestly think that when we didn't get Lenny Euro last year, I think it kind of messed up the plan a little bit. I think Dean Howson,
that pissed me off.
It did annoy me. I do think Dean Howson wouldn't have happened if we got Lenny Euro last year, though. You know what I mean? So I think it might be a blessing in disguise because, I mean, as of today, I'd probably take Dean. But I think Lenny will be a good player. It's just Man U just sucks. So
Funny is that Man U's playing 20 minutes away from me this Sunday against Everton.
Yeah, but you know what? But I've got a question. Who would you guys go for? Look at this, by the way. 3 grade 3 hamstrings. Yeah, that's our tear with what he's done to these players, mate. That guy really cannot keep players healthy. I've got one thing now. What are we? Obviously, this is another thing as well that we're gonna have to say. Finally, before I move on, which centre back do you think Madrid will or should buy, in your opinion, for you guys to improve this defense? In your opinion, both of you. Feel free anyone to jump in.
You can go for it, mate.
Tough question. That's just such a tough question because, again, are you talking about this summer or next summer first and foremost? Like,
both. It doesn't matter. It can be this summer. It can be next summer. Yeah,
Sam, you love doing this.
You know who I would have liked to see happen was Jonathan Tah. I would have liked to see him come with Xabi from Leverkusen over, but especially since it was a free transfer too. That's the thing. I think we kind of whiffed on that one. I don't know how well he would have done it. I mean, he is 29. I would have liked to see that one. The player that I've always been fascinated with too, and he has had some injury problems though, is Guardiola from Man City. I think the flexibility to play that center back role / the left back role, I think that would be good. Will that happen? Probably not, but that's somebody that I do rate. So
I wouldn't mind this kid from Ajax, Joao Hato. Even though I know
Chelsea. He's close to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just joining the factory line over there again.
Of course. Start? Yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
I think Hato would have been a good target, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's plenty of targets there we've missed out on. I can't lie. There's another thing I've got for you, man, as well. The league is one thing. The league is one thing now that we're gonna have a challenge for. Obviously, if there's any Liverpool fan in here, big up to yourself. That club has now. I don't know if you've seen the window that they've had. They have all. They've had such an amazing window so far. Wirtz, Frimpong, Kirkes. They might even and Ekitike. They might even land Isak now.
Nah, they're not getting Isak, man. They don't. I'm sorry, that financial package. They don't got the 200. They don't have.
I told you. They can spend over 450 without being close to.
Without being close to the bag.
This is the issue. No, sorry. Trust me, you're going to be surprised when you see that happen.
I don't want to make this a Liverpool bash fest, but you don't spend 95 million on a striker to bring in 170.
Yeah, but they've sold players. They've sold players as well. This is the thing. But you know what? I want to ask you, man, this. If they get him as well, what are our chances for the UCL? Because we both know managers at this club have to perform in that. Wait,
Sam, you're worried about Liverpool?
Of course I am. What are you?
I mean, somewhat. I still think we have a better team than them. I still think we have a better team than them.
Yeah.
Wow. You're on that one, man.
Sam, do you forget like who we have on our teams? I think at times like
have you forgotten who they've bought now?
That's fine. I mean, okay. So
but I also
remember who we have on our team. Like we have a 2 times
and
Champions League winning team and nucleus, right?
Yeah, but mate,
they just rebuilt their team from scratch with brand new players, right? We've never touched the big prize.
Not from scratch.
And I'm supposed to come today in 2025 and say I'm worried about potential.
But you're asking me this question about a team that didn't win the UCL last season. This is the thing. Do you get me? Like, we got embarrassed last season in the UCL. Like, I remember that. But
you got farther than Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. But to be fair, they had PSG. We had Atletico. To be fair to them,
but it was PSG before everybody knew what it was. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like I had quiet confidence in PSG, to be honest with you. But let's talk about Liverpool though. So Frimpong replaces Trent. I would rate Trent more than Frimpong. I mean, it's a completely different profile too.
But they're both shit at defending. But they're both shit at defending.
That's true. Right. I do think I kind of like Trent's profile a little more. The other Bournemouth guy, is it Kyrgios? Is that the guy? Kyrgios?
Yeah.
I think he's a decent player. I actually rated him. I think he's good. But let's say if they do get so they already got Ekitike, and let's say they do get Isak. Only one of them is going to be starting, in my opinion. You can have both of them, but I don't imagine both of them are starting in like a 4-4-2 setup or anything like that too. Salah got a year older too. They did get Florian Wirtz, who I do rate. He is just very injury prone though at the same time. So let's see how he does physicality wise in the Prem. Cody Gakpo I think is good at times, but is he I'd be honestly, to me, I'd be more worried if they got Rodrygo at left wing with Ekitike than if they got Isak, just because then I think you're kind of complimenting the team more than doubling up on the striker position. That's just my thoughts on it. I think they're a very good team. Don't get me wrong. McAllister's good. Gravenberch is very good too. Virgil, again, he's getting older too. But I don't think Diaz is staying. I think he's going to Bayern. I do think they're going to get rid of I can never think
they rejected that second offer though, Dali. They rejected it again.
If they want Isak, they're going to sell him. And so I do think that they get Isak. I just think that they're going to have to sell some players too.
Exactly. Thank you. Everyone seems to think there's like this unlimited pick, but I agree with a lot of what you said about Liverpool. Yes, they're a strong team in Europe, but if I had to read a starting 11, and then again I had to read Real Madrid's 11, I'm still picking Madrid's 11 over Liverpool, and we'll see how the managers put together the tactics, who buys in.
Fair enough to you.
But Sam, how can you tell me we can't go band for band with Liverpool? Like player for player.
I'm not saying we can't.
Let's just start, right? No, let's go 11 for 11, right? Let's move. Dali, give me Madrid starting 11. You just named Liverpool's. Give me Madrid starting 11.
Courtois, Trent, Rudiger, Tchouaméni, Dean, probably Carreras, Jude, Arda, Fede, Trent. If I already said him, I'm not sure if I did.
Yeah, you
Mbappe,
did.
Vinnie.
Yeah, like that 4-4-2. I'm taking.
Yeah, but again, we don't play the same formation. We're not going to play the same formation. This is the thing.
Even if we play 3-5-2, that's going to be the starting 11 for the most part in a 3-5-2.
No. I hear that. I hear that. I completely hear that. But again, I think you and I and Dali have all seen that Vinnie and Mbappe together does not work. Because that is something we need to talk about. And another thing as well, and I hate to bring this up to you, man, and even to the chat, but I'm going to do it again. That midfield. We're going to talk about having to control the game. You see, Dali's laughing because he knows what I'm going to go at. He knows what I'm going to say. But, bro, we have to control the midfield. So I'm asking you, man, now, everyone on here, what would your midfield be then? If, when you're saying we have a better midfield than Liverpool, because they can control games like that if they want to. Go ahead, anyone. And Savi, since you're so eager to say we've got a better team, you can go ahead and light everyone up. Pause.
I said we have better players, and I'll live on that hill. We have better players. Even with this amazing summer by Liverpool, I still think we have better players in the starting 11.
Well, when you say better players, what do you mean position for position, or do you say
position for position? I think we win probably in 8 out of 11 categories, maybe 7 of 11.
Wow.
around that mark. Now, again, I might be overshooting it by like 2 players or whatnot, call it 50%. But again, I mean, left back, give me Carreras. I'll take Virgil
over
take
Kirkes.
Konate.
I don't know if I need to see more from Carreras, to be honest about that. I'm not 100% sold on that transfer. I think we spent a lot for him, and for somebody who I don't know, we needed another left back too. You can't go in the season with basically just Fran and a injury-ridden Mendy. You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't know.
Fran's gonna be a backup.
I know, but what I'm saying is I don't know if I rate Carreras like that.
That's fair.
Kirkes, I don't know. I'm looking now. Who would make the starting 11 for Real Madrid? Van Dijk would, obviously.
Konate. I think Konate would too. Yeah. I think Konate and Virgil for now. I mean, you could maybe say Dean. Yeah, Salah's definitely
Salah gets in all day long.
Wirtz is getting into our 11.
Courtois or Alisson, though? I'm taking Courtois.
I'm taking Courtois.
No, I'm picking Thibaut. Yeah, I'm picking Thibaut, of course. Yep. But I'm going to say this, unpopular opinion. As a striker, and listen to what I'm saying now. As a striker, I'm picking Isak over Mbappe as a striker. As a striker, not as a winger, as a striker.
I mean, based on what, though? You have to give a based on what?
Because I think Isak would do much better as a striker. I think that guy, he's built. That is an actual natural striker. Like,
by the way, I'm taking Courtois over Liverpool's new goalie too. We've seen Mauro Darbushi in La Liga for quite some time.
Yeah, Mamadashvili, yeah, from Valencia,
yeah.
You think Isak gets 31 goals in La Liga last season?
No.
I think if he plays for Barca or Madrid, I think he does. But people need to understand, it's not just about.
I mean, maybe for Barca with how many chances they created, right? Even Ferran Torres had.
But he asked me, do I think he would? And I said, if you put him in that team, then yeah. But again, Isak is a very clinical striker as well. People seem to forget that Isak is a very clinical striker.
He's very good.
And that is an actual striker. That is a proper striker. You guys see Gonzalo Garcia when he was playing. Yeah, what is the difference between him and Usain Mbappe and Vinnie when they're there? Why? He's a striker. That guy is an actual 9. Mbappe's a winger playing as a striker. This is my point. So I'd rather have Mbappe on the left and then have Isak up top, if you get what I mean. So in that sort of position, So in that position, that's why I'm starting to think. But I am worried, man. I am worried about this UCL thing because he ain't just them. It's Liverpool now. It's PSG. City gonna be back up there. Who else are we? Who else is the next?
Barca.
Oh yeah, Barca. So I forgot about
Arsenal.
That.
Arsenal got better though. You can say they're gonna get Gyökeres.
But I also have to look at the mirror here.
Mm-hmm.
We had 7, 8, 9 players severely underperform last year. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start there. How about the 8 players on our team don't underperform? Right? Let's just start with that piece. Again, I can look at Arsenal.
Yeah, but why did they underperform?
There's many factors that went into it, right? It could be mental fatigue. They just won 2 Champions Leagues in the last 4 years. A lot of these things happen, right? I mean, Asensio's got a weird case, around him. This all plays in at the end of the day into your game state and how much you're performing. We all know that the hardest thing to do is sustain success. It's why no one else has gone 3 in a row in the modern era, right? They've done it in the other eras, don't get me wrong, Ajax, Bayern, and other teams. However, there's a reason why that 3P team is revered the way it is, because they did it, and then they did it again, and then they did it again, right? Our team, we did it twice in 4 years. We got rid of the pillars of that team, who were Kroos, Modric, and Benzema, and now we're trying to figure it out on the fly. I'm not going to make any excuses. I think, again, there was 8 or 9 players that severely underperformed. I think there was 12 players that underperformed, and the rest is hard to really see because they either got injured or didn't play enough minutes. However, where I'm going with this is also keep in mind, Sam, we have an Endrick coming back. Highly talented youngster, by the way, super talented. We brought in 5 signings this summer.
Are you talking about injuries? By the
team's going to change.
Another guy.
Well, also, right? We talk about Arsenal brought in this team brought in that. Well, we brought in a center back, one of our biggest needs, right? We brought in a right back, one of our biggest needs. So how has Madrid not gotten better also, right? Because I feel like we're quick to be like, all these teams improved. We haven't. And I'm like, wait a minute. let's pause, guys. We actually have ourselves, right?
Mhm.
We brought in 5 signings. We didn't bring in 1 signing this summer. We brought in at minimum 2 starters already, probably 3 with Carreras, right? An entire new back line. We're talking about the second highest rated kid in South America after Esteval and Franco. We have no idea how much he's going to benefit us. And if you take a look at the recent Argentines that have came over from River Plate and banked, Enzo Fernandez, right? Julian Alvarez, even that kid Echeverry at Manchester City's got talent, even though he's not being used right now. Like, everything's telling me that Franco's probably going to be pretty good to start with here. We'll see what the ceiling is on that, but I know the floor is going to be good. So that's where I'm going, is like, I think sometimes we just get lost in the Prem making all these signings and improving, and sometimes we kind of just like miss what's going on maybe internally here, or asking for a bit more in a sense, which I understand and can relate. But keep in mind, the club's already spent $250 million,
you know,
right?
where, and I think you know where they're asking. Like Dali said, we're still saying that the defense is not complete yet, and we're still saying that we need a deep line playmaker in the midfield, like Macaulay here just said. So I think that is why people are still like worried, and why we are now starting to look at these teams and then go like, oh shit, hold up a minute, this is gonna get much harder now.
But let me ask a question, right? Because I just said it, right? We just replaced 3 out of 4 starters on the back line. Are you saying it hasn't been good enough this summer because we haven't replaced the entire back line? Like, we haven't replaced all 4, we replaced 3 out of 4?
The issue is, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to let Dali explain, and I'm going to let Dali answer that question as well if he wants to. My issue is, I've said this for time, and we've seen this in the PC chat. Feel free to leave your opinions on this if you guys agree. If Huijsen gets injured, Savi, and I think Dali will agree, but the system, half the system immediately collapses. Because he is like the anchor right now, or the engine, sorry, not the anchor, that's true, but he's the engine right now. He's the key for the system to work. We want to play out of the back, comfortably. And Huijsen is really, really, really good in the ball. I'm not even mentioning his defending, because his defending is really good. But so if he goes out and we have to play against a PSG or a Barca or a Bayern, or even if it is a Liverpool that you claim that we're better than, then I'm telling you, mate, it's gonna go from here to here that quick. And I hate telling people this, but this is unfortunately the truth. Until these players can prove that no, without Huijsen we can still do this back-to-back stuff. We can still play this game where we play out of the back. We get it to the midfield, up to the forwards like that, and then just do the attack. Well, then, until then, we're going to still have a big question mark over it. And like I said, it ain't just that. If you play Rodrygo and Asensio there, if you have to play them there for a game, mashallah, habibi, it's not going to end up well whatsoever. And I don't think anyone wants to even see them 2 in the back 3 ever again. Dali, do you wanna,
I agree with you. I understand both your points. I do think we got better. I think that's to answer the question there. If we lose Huijsen, that's a big miss, right? Now, if you brought in a Konate, he can't do the same thing that Huijsen can do. The reason that we rate Huijsen so much is not just what he can do defensively, the size that he has, but it's the progression of the ball. Some of the passes that this guy is creating is incredible, whether it was for Spain, whipping it to Nico Williams, or whether it was, to Vinnie, to Kylian Mbappe, stuff like that, or even Arda Güler or Jude Bellingham. He can do something that not many center backs in the world can do. So you're not going to be able to replace and get a backup for that. I do think we need another center back just in terms of the overall health. Rudiger just had surgery, other side of 30. You have Militao coming back from 2 ACLs. Alaba is basically a male model nowadays, only modeling for the new kits. You need another center back. And here's the thing, too. We sold Hokobo. I think he just went to Como. So we just sold him. But at the same time, Trent is a lot better than Lucas Vazquez, who is honestly just betraying us every single game.
Dali, let's be careful with that. Offensively, he's better. 10 times.
I'm telling you defensively. Telling you defensively, he's better. Lucas Vazquez is an all-time horrible. There's going to be times.
But that's not hard, is it, Dali? Let's be honest.
I understand that, but even if he's half as bad as Lucas Vazquez, right? Danny Carvajal is one of the most underappreciated players. Once we lost Carvajal last year, honestly, the season I was like kind of like shit. Here we go, just because not only the leadership that he provided to, he's not the most physically gifted player in the world. He's not the most special defensive player. He's just smart. He just knows what to do. He knows how to slow down the game, knows how to accelerate, knows exactly where he needs to be to. And Carvajal was in the starting 11 for every single one of the Champions League over the past couple of years. Every single one of them. Like, you got to think about that.
Mm.
So I think having him come back, he's still not fully healthy too. I mean, if you see the difference between the two legs he has, but having him as a backup, even at worst, is a lot better than having Lucas Vazquez out there. So I think adding Dean, adding Trent, we'll see what happens with Franco. I don't have the highest expectations this season for him. Hopefully I'm wrong. I would love for him to come in and deliver for us right away. And then I think having Carreras too, I still don't 100% know about him. Everything I've seen, you know, he did good against Yamal in the 2 games and everything like that. So that's a good thing to have. And just having somebody as another option too, because we were kind of running Fran into the ground. So I do think we got better. I just think we just don't have the notable names that like a Liverpool might have added to, and like what Arsenal's adding to. It's always exciting when you add a big time striker, a big time, you know, number 10, a winger, something like that too. So,
but I think they've saved
where I would jump in on that is,
go on, sorry.
If you look at, and granted, I know they spent a lot of money, but if you look at the names PSG has been bringing in over the past couple transfer windows, besides Guevara and probably Joan Neves, who were both known, I would say, out of the signings, the Doués, all these other signings weren't your standard, you know, big name, bring them in, but more plug and play into a system. That's kind of what I look at. Most of the names we brought in this summer was like Xavi sat down and was like, these are the players that I need to get my system to work. And and one thing I want to just agree with you on is the point about Dean in possession. This is going to be like night and day from last year in possession. And also why I think Carreras is going to be massive, because Carreras in possession is light years better than whatever we got from the left back last year at any given point in time. Argue about his defense. Okay, I'm with you there. Like, an argument could definitely be had about how good he is defensively, but with the ball progressing the ball, it's going to be almost the equivalent of like what Trent's going to be doing on the right-hand side compared to last year, in the sense of we have guys you can trust with the ball. They're not going to turn it over. We're not just going to get pinned deep, right, with our fullbacks like we did all last year. Remember, we just default, and it's either get the ball to a fullback or bypass the midfield. Well, now we're going to have Carreras on the left, Trent on the right, Dean in the middle, and then also Sam, and I know you're not going to agree with me on this, but we have a wild card at center back on our roster who just got back healthy. And I know they're going to say, double ACL, he's never coming back. He's 26 years old. I don't know if he's going to be a starter from day one, but you have to give him a chance, especially because he tore one ACL and then he tore the other. Yes, that's different than tearing the same knee twice. And anybody that's ever had knee injury knows if they go back in on the same knee and they have to carve in again, that knee is probably good as gone. One ACL injury to a knee is not the same as it used to be back in the day where it was like one ACL, you're done. So I just want to be clear that it is different. Also, we already have a center back who's torn his ACL twice on our roster. His name is Antonio Rudiger, by the way. He tore it when he was in his teens, and then he tore it at Chelsea. Guess what? His career played out pretty well. So all I'm saying is Militao is a wild card at center back. If he can give us the 2022 version of Militao, just that version of Militao, I think it raises the floor of this team massively, at least this year in the interim, right? And I think we can get to next year without potentially having to bring in a center back this summer that we may not fully be in love with in that sense, right? You said Florentino loves Saliba, right? I don't think this summer and Saliba is just a realistic timeline. But if if you are truly willing to go after him next summer, that means you're not going to bring anyone else in this year. You get me? So that means you're going to double down on Militao or someone internally so that you don't bring in another center back and the next summer you're bringing in Saliba, because all you're doing is creating a logjam. Right. Yeah, but you're really not doing any favors to yourself.
Mate, but real talk, your love for Militao is gonna have to be studied, mate. One day
it's not my love for Militao, to be honest with you. I'm just looking at things like kind of realistically. If we're not bringing in a center back, then what do you do? Right? You have to double down with what you have.
No. I'm not talking like
this entire conversation for me comes from is like, I don't think we're gonna go get a center back this summer. I agree. I always said, like, if it was gonna be a case, it was gonna be Konate. Konate looks like he's gonna resign. Okay, So what can we do now? Well, the conversation isn't like, well, what happens next summer? It's like, no, what are we going to do match day 13 against Barcelona at the Bernabeu?
Now, but
right?
the way you still
up?
have trust. No, but mate, the way you still have trust in Militao, like Rebona has, but the way you two have still trust in Militao in 2025, bro, I gotta give you man credit. You man are loyal. You man are loyal. You still believe in it. You know, that's Gucci 2.0 in it.
Sam, I'll be honest. If he was Alaba's age, and one thing that gave me a glimmer,
he's only 27.
Literally the peak of your physical prime, right? The peak of your physical prime, in a sense. Now, the one thing that gave me confidence was at least that cameo against PSG. The main thing I was looking for was his first step. How quick was it? How was his reaction? Was he able to keep up with a forward? Not okay. Is he making a game-saving tackle? Because he did. But forget that piece, right? I'm looking at physically wise. Can he turn quick? Can he keep up with the forwards? If Militao can do that and maintain that, we know what his level can be as a center back. But if he's cooked physically, then there's no point in talking about the level, right? And at least in that little cameo against PSG, what I saw was he looked like at least he's up to speed. He didn't look like the game was too quick for him. And that's what happens oftentimes when they come back from ACLs is like you need a couple of weeks or months to kind of get that game speed back because you're just a step slow. I don't know. I mean, Dali, I want to get maybe your thoughts. That little cameo by Militao from a physical standpoint, like he looked good physically to me, right? That's where I was like, hey, maybe there's something there this year. Like maybe we can rely on that. Now, am I saying he's going to start over Rodrygo all season? No, but we're talking about rotating that right center back position essentially, right? Between Alaba, Militao, Asensio, John, maybe, right? I mean, essentially it's going to be 4 players rotating for that one position because we know Dean's starting.
Yeah. No, I think that's the thing is we have to rotate. Last year we were just not rotating because we didn't really have options to, you know what I mean? And the thing is too that I think is interesting is I'm not sure if we can do the 3-5-2 the whole year, you know what I mean? And the reason why I say that too, and one of the things coming into especially like the Club World Cup and stuff, I wanted to see, are we going to do that 3-5-2 setup that Xabi, everybody was clamoring for? I'm like, we don't have the center backs at the time. You know what I mean? How many games last year did we see Tchouaméni at center back, right? Granted, he is technically kind of playing that role now. So that's going to be the thing too. If they're not healthy, you're going to have to resort probably to a 4-4-2 where you're only putting 2 center backs out there. And maybe one of them has to be a Tchouaméni, something like that too. I do think Militao looked good. However, I'm looking right now, 26 minutes is what he played. And the thing that I do want to mention too, we were already getting destroyed. It was 3-0 late in the game. He came out in the 64th minute there. And it was just a cameo really from a lot of players. Militao came in, Luka Modric final time out there too. Danny Carvajal did not look fit, and he still came on in that game. And then Lucas Vazquez got his final game too. So I'm not sure if that was more just to see exactly what they look like. I will say I do agree. I do think that Militao overall looked a lot better than what I thought he would look out there. Carvajal looked exactly kind of how I thought he was. One leg looks completely normal. One leg looks like it's a newborn baby leg. Honestly, it looks like it's regrowing. Militao, actually, his turn was pretty good. His control was good, and positioning was still good too. It's just going to be, can he stay healthy? That's the biggest thing. If he can stay healthy, I think we can trust Militao. I just can't trust that he's going to stay healthy. That's the thing. But if we are constantly rotating center backs too, where it's not always Dean, where it's not always Rodrygo, and that they get some rest, I think that we can actually work it out this year, and we can hopefully go into next summer against Saliba.
Yeah, I agree fully with that assessment. I think, and if you have your eye on Saliba, then why wouldn't you go with that, right? Then why would you bring in some sort of temporary solution? It makes no sense.
Yeah, no, fully. There's 2 things before we can wrap the show up. Which this comment took the things out of my banner pretty much. I'm seeing Saudi PIF links now to Atletico. Now, if this happens, I want to ask you too, how much is this? Because I think this can change our league forever. If we're seeing what's happened to the Premier, if this comes into our league, we'll talk. That could be the beginning of something new. I can't lie. Not that I like it as well. What are your thoughts on this? Because I can't lie. If this happens, mate, then boy.
To be honest, I like it. It's good for the league. The league needs more.
Oh, you like it now?
The league needs more investment. At the end of the day, right? If La Liga doesn't grow its revenue, at a sustainable rate, then Real Madrid and Barcelona suffer because we get constrained by the league's financial restrictions. And although we just reported the highest revenue ever grossed by an individual sports club ever, right? On one hand, that's fantastic for our club. However, we operate in a league that you can't just go and spend whatever you want. And if that league isn't able to generate more and more from these TV deals, then we're going to continue to operate like a much smaller league than the Premier League. So the more foreign investment we can get into this league, the higher we can start to raise everything, right? We start to raise the floor here. We get bigger TV deals. We can start competing with the Prem again. But when the Prem is signing $10 billion TV deals and we're signing a $2 billion TV deal, right? That's a magnitude of 5x that they are now able to go and spend on everything from the training grounds to the medical assistants, right? To the marketing. All of that is what I'm looking at, right? Like, again, you can look at it from on the field. Atleti's are rival. Yes, on one hand, they are a rival. But if that's a third now solid investor in La Liga, that means we should be able to attract a fourth, potentially a fifth to buy other clubs and raise the floor of this league. Because, listen, we're at the ceiling of this league. We are at the pinnacle of it, right? Real Madrid's going to be here no matter what. But the thing is, we need kind of that middle class to start raising their level as well, right? By getting bigger foreign investors to spend more money in the league. More money into the league, more dollars into the league is better for us. That's how I will always view it, as more eyes, more TV. We already have an unfair TV deal that we're profiting from. So if that just goes up, we're still profiting. So for me,
I agree.
I don't mind it personally.
No, I hear your argument, but the issue is if they get it and then more and more clubs, bro, then surely, can we compete on a financial thing? Do you get what I'm saying? Because that ain't just anyone buying them. Do you get what I'm saying? It ain't just anyone that's going to buy them now, sorry. We have to think about it in that way now as well. But,
yeah, I understand what you're saying about that. I mean, here's the thing. Like Newcastle, they got new owners and stuff like that who have basically unlimited money. They could probably buy Liverpool and sell them and not even notice it, right? That's how much money. But it's kind of up to the league to control how much you can kind of spend and stuff like that. I would agree. I do think more money into the league is good. That is why Florentino Perez was looking at the Super League and stuff before. You know what I mean? Trying to do that and trying to leave. And here's the thing. I mean, I will try to make this as short as possible. Here in the States, we've had something similar, which is realignment in college sports. And basically, all these conferences used to be in terms of like where they are geographically. However, some of these conferences produce more and make more money in TV deals. And what happens is some of these teams, a team like a Real Madrid, like a Barcelona and stuff, you're like, why am I still here with this terrible TV deal? And they start leaving to go to other conferences. I would never put it past Real Madrid or Barcelona to basically say to the Premier League, hey, we will come to the Premier League because we will attract more fans. We will grow it here and stuff, which would be completely different, right? It would be crazy. But could you guys see that happening? I could. I mean, if the money's not getting invested in La Liga, I could see something like that happening. If it's not the Super League, it's something like that too, where they force their way to make more money, something like that. So,
and it has to be done. To be candid, like the league needs more injection of money. And this league absolutely needs it. So if it's through Saudi Arabia and Atleti, so be it. But we need to uplift the middle class of this league. It's not about the Reals and the Barças right now. It's about kind of like the rest of the league needs to up the ante a bit here so that we have a more marketable product at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's why I'm in favor of an Anthony going to Real Betis because I think it's good for the league. I'm in favor of some of these other guys getting added and stuff like that too. If Rashford would have went to something else, that's why I was happy Nico Williams stayed at Bilbao just because it makes them a little bit better too. It makes it a better product overall. If it's just Barcelona and Real Madrid dominating and every once in a while Atletico Madrid, it's not that good of a product. It's not going to get the money for the TV. It's not going to get investors and stuff like that. So I think it's a good thing overall, but we'll see what happens.
But the issue is it's the fact that it's them, like our neighbors.
No,
that is
I get it.
A bit like, yeah, but do I want them
Sam,
to get
I get it too, but I mean,
because
what sport doesn't the PIF invest in at this point, right? Like every sport you watch has some
I
Saudi
understand.
public investment fund.
And,
I mean, even in the Club World Cup, right? Like I went to the game in Philadelphia, and pretty much all the banners going around the field all said PIF Public Investment Fund on them, right? So they have their hands all over this sport. And if that's how they're going to get into La Liga and do it that way, then I mean, it's a necessary evil as long as, again, there's constraints to make sure that they're not recklessly spending.
Yeah. No, I understand. And yeah, that you did make a good point, and so did that as well. They're going to be on the more restricted regulation when it comes to spending, so it's not going to be like it's in the print. So I hear the argument.
Can I just make a quick? Before we move on? Can I just make a quick comment on Atleti's?
Go for it. Go on.
Atleti's summer. I feel like it should be notated. They've had a massive summer this year, and in fact, over the course of probably the past 2 summers,
I thought last year that'd be good.
They've almost completely rebuilt this team. So I think now that they've said, because I mean, I think the turnover on the team was like 85% of the team has turned over in the last 2.5 years. So they've really rebuilt a lot of components of this team that we were used to chronically underperforming year after year. A lot of those players are leaving Atleti and they're bringing in fresh blood. So I just want to, give some kudos to them. I know this is a Real Madrid podcast, and, we hate Atleti Madrid, of course, on the field. But it is nice to see other clubs in La Liga being able to afford players, like $40 million players, $50 million. It's nice to not just see Real and Barca, the only 2 that can afford any somewhat decent talents out there. And we'll see how it goes, but I really like that Almada kid, the Argentine. He's a really good player. Pablo Barrios is who they got last year. He's obviously going to be the defensive midfielder. Alex Baena in their midfield. That's going to be a solid midfield 3, by the way, those 3 players. Don't underestimate that piece. And I do think, and I'll land it here unless, Dolly, you have something to say about it, but I think Atleti are going to surprise people in the Champions League this year. I really think that for some reason they're just getting underrated in that sense. And I think they have the tools now to make some noise in Europe. Because keep in mind, right, like we're their boogeyman in Europe. We're their boogeyman. We can be at our best or worst, and we're their boogeyman. But I think, they're going to make some.
The only thing I've got, but the only thing I want to ask you and Dali is their manager. Like, does he still have it in him? Or is
absolutely. Absolutely, Simeone has it in him. Absolutely.
We'll have to see we have to see if he can still do it, or if they need a change of a manager. That's gonna be the one question.
That guy's got more quote unquote credit in the bank than most managers, besides maybe Pep.
Yeah, that is a shout. The last thing then before we go, Dali, I'm gonna get your thoughts on it first, then I'm gonna come to Salvi. Now where we've seen obviously the Isak stuff to Liverpool. And we've seen they've been the heaviest team linked. Before anyone names Arsenal in the chat when it comes to this guy, Arsenal now apparently are in for Eze heavily, which will be, if they go for one more signing, it's going to be one of him or Rodrygo, and then it stops for them. My question is, Liverpool buys Isak and then Arsenal sign Eze. Where does this guy go? Is he staying? Is he even leaving then? Well, what do you guys think? Dali, I'll come to you first, bro.
Yeah, I made a video today. Well. Yeah, I made a video today, and I said if we do any more transfer business, he has to be sold, right? Granted,
come on.
We could appreciate it, mate. We could sell Vinnie, right? I understand that. That's what's the most likely thing to happen, right? It's Rodrygo getting sold. Now, the thing that I mentioned, there's only certain clubs that can actually pay $100 million. We're talking a Chelsea, a Liverpool, an Arsenal, PSG, Bayern Munich, stuff like that, right? When Liverpool's basically already spent everything, maybe Isak. When Arsenal's basically already done it too. The list, PSG doesn't need him. You start going Bayern Munich or Chelsea. And even Chelsea, the way that their pay structure is, I don't even know. And then Bayern Munich too, they've kind of whiffed a lot too. I don't know if they have the $100 million or something like that. The most likely outcome is he probably stays, and we probably try it. And that's the thing. I'm open to trying it.
And Dali, just to add to that point, do you know what I've heard is one of the main reasons? Savia, you can feel free to jump in as well as soon as Dali's done as well. I've heard the fact that he's demanding something crazy. What is it? 30 million net a year. That is another thing that has pissed a lot of
Vinnie?
clubs because he's demanding. Yeah, no. What the hell am I
Rodrygo wants
saying?
30 million.
Rodrygo did not demand 30 million.
No. Now I mix the numbers up. Sorry, my bad.
Oh,
My bad. Yeah,
he wanted 20, by the way. He wanted 20.
Yeah. He wanted over, what was it, over 300 grand, I think it was. That's it, over 300 grand. And then a lot of clubs have basically said, no, that's not happening. I think that is another thing as well.
I mean, to be fair, he's on 280 right now at Madrid. Rodrygo is, so it's not like he's going from Konate money to 300 grand, right? I mean, that's what, a 10% pay raise. It's not the most.
It was 10 million net. Sorry, I just googled it. 10 million net. That's what he wanted.
What I'll say on Rodrygo is, and I said this probably a couple streams ago, I had the hot take that I don't think we should get rid of him, as much as there has been tension between his agents and the club for a significant amount of time, as literally we found out as it unraveled throughout May and June. That was information that we were being told ever since, call it November, December, by folks in our fan base who were saying, hey, there's rumors in Madrid that this guy's dad is making a lot of noise around the contract and things like that. We then found out that he started the Champions League last year because he threw a hissy fit. Like, he wasn't supposed to start the final that we won, by the way. And I know this really drove a wedge between himself and the club. The club showed him the front door this summer, and the market spoke to Rodrygo. The market said, Rodrygo, you're not worth the money you think you are. That's essentially why he's still at Real Madrid. Let's just be very frank. The door was wide open, right? Madrid said, go be like Casemiro, go get an offer and come to us, right? And then just like Mesut Ozil, when he went to Arsenal, got the offer, he brought it to Florentino. What'd he say? Good luck. Don't let the door hit you, right? I mean, Real Madrid doesn't keep players that don't want to be here.
But the thing is, Salvi, you could tell, I think Dalian might agree with this as well. You could tell when Ozil left Arsenal, you could tell he didn't want to be there. Like, you could tell the way he was. It's like he didn't want to be there.
At the end of the day, you wanted to leave. You got an offer that was adequate. You left on good terms with the club, right? I mean, you walked out the front door. You didn't get the Sergio Ramos treatment, which we kicked you out the back door, right? Yeah. There's ways you go about it. Rodrygo went about it the wrong way. And I think the one thing he's fortunate for is that the situation is changing pretty quickly over the summer over the guy that was ahead of him, right? And you can call it what you want, but what I'm hearing is that management in Madrid are not happy with Rock Nation, how they're operating around Vinnie, and that management is really getting put off by the noise going on around Vinnie by Rock Nation. And if that's the case, and if you're Rodrygo, essentially, what does this mean? You got a chance to redeem yourself, no matter what. Like, yeah, you could have had your qualms with the club, but the noise that Vinny's making now is like on a way different level, right? Like, going to the media, demanding that you're paid the highest, X, Y, and Z. Again, Vinny's playing with fire right now, man. And I'm not saying it's going to happen this summer, but once he loses that trust from Florentino or Jose Angel Sanchez, there's really never any going back, right? Like, from that point forward, it's usually some sort of exit strategy. I'm not saying it happens immediately.
That's one thing I will give the club credit for.
Like, no renewal gets offered, essentially.
Yeah, and that's one thing I will give the club credit for. It's like when that is one thing I will give this club credit for. So when they shut the door on the way out, they tell you, listen, no, you're not coming here anymore. Fuck off. That's what they're basically telling you. If they tell you to get out, you're getting out. You're not coming back in. So that's something I will give the club for.
I wanted to land my point on that real quick because I'll land it here. Is that
shit? Sorry for interrupting.
What I hope for this year is that because Vinny has now made this situation, I don't want to say untenable yet, but he's making this an awkward situation. I hope that the club gives the power to the coach to now make this a more open competition for these roles, for starting positions. I think there should be a open and fair competition across the board. We know number 10 is going to be in that starting lineup, no matter how much we love it or not. But I think there should be open conversations about left wing and who can compete for it and give them equal opportunities. Because if Vinny wants to act like this, then why should he be entitled to a starting 11 spot? Why shouldn't he have to compete for it if you want to make these?
I'm going to get to that right now. Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm going to get to that right now. Before I do, Tayev, brother, number one, mate, don't spam my chat. Yeah, I've got some unwritten rules here. I shouldn't have to write them. Well, I'll answer this question out one time, but don't spam the chat, yeah? I'll let my panelists answer as well. Is Madrid going to sign any midfielder this summer, bro? We ain't signing any midfielder now. That's done. We ain't signing, unless a midfielder leaves, which ain't going to happen. All right? The next time, broski, do not spam. All right? Now you've been warned. What's it called? Dali. Obviously, I think you agree with what Savi said. He's got the chance to redeem himself now, Rodrygo, because of the Vinnie stuff. I was going to ask you as well now about the Vinnie stuff, because Savi hit the nail on the head. He wants 30 million a year. And the club is basically right now telling him, listen, mate, right now you ain't getting niche, yeah, until you start performing on that pitch. Because if he drops another disaster like he did Dali, he's not getting that money, mate. He ain't going to get it, and rightfully so. I want to ask you, what would you do now? Would you keep Rodrygo and potentially, if Vinnie doesn't perform, get rid of him and keep Rodrygo? What would you do in this case then, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, what I think happens, what I want to happen, are kind of similar, to be honest. I mean, if we actually had a $350 million offer for Vinnie, I would take it in a heartbeat, literally in a heartbeat. He's making basically 21 million right now. I mean, he wants an increase. He's not going to get 30. I don't see that happening, anything like that. I just think then you're going to have to pay Jude 30, and that's another, it's not going to happen. I think like kind of what you guys were saying too, fight it out. Let Rodrygo get a fair shot and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with rotating players, right? There's nothing wrong with Vinny. If he's not performing, sit his ass on the bench. Let Rodrygo start. If he's not performing, put Mbappe there. If Mbappe's not performing, I don't care. For me, I have no agendas when it comes to players, anything like that. I just want Real Madrid to win and win convincingly too. That's the thing. I don't like the attitude and everything that Vinny's got sometimes. He needs to work on that too. And if they're not going to play as a team, you got to work on that too. So I think keep it how it is now. Let's see what Xabi Alonso can do. I understand he did not play him during the summer too, but the transfer window looks like it's going to be closing in terms of what we want to get for Rodrygo's value, right? And so
100%. 100%. Mandem, I think we're done in it. Obviously, me and Dada, we need to go on to Will's show. And Savi, I don't want to take too much of your time anymore, mate. Cheers as always. Before we go, Dali, what you got coming up, brother?
Yeah, we're gonna go do Will's show now. Go chat about, talk a little trash to Barcelona people, and just some more videos. If anything breaks, anything like that, just hop over on my channel too. We'll be doing that. We'll be talking about the season here very soon too. So looking forward to doing that.
And his thing is pinned in the title. Yeah, he's pinned in the title always, Dali. And listen, mate. I loved you on my channel, man. You're welcome anytime you want, mate. I'm definitely on. The next time we're doing the podcast, mate, you're coming on with Savi, with Ignacio, and with what's called Dami as well. You're gonna go with all of it. That's gonna be 5 of us. That's gonna be the standard, mate. 5. Big up to you, Savi, my brother. Big up always, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, love you as always, my guy. What you got coming up? What you got coming up, brother, before we end? Before we end up, brother. What you got coming up?
I got a busy weekend, man. Busy weekend for me. You know how it is.
Am I seeing you on the Madridista Ultras podcast next week then? Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me know the time.
Come on. Yeah, that's next week, man. Dali, I'll see you next week on the podcasting as well then, yeah? On my channel then, mate. To make your debut.
We'll have to figure it out, but we'll chat. We'll chat.
Nah, come on. You're in the group channel as well, mate. Big up. All right, man, then. Listen, I've put the link in, yeah? This right here. Yeah, that's the link for Will's channel that we're going to join now. I'll talk to you, man, tomorrow again with another video. Whether there's a video or a stream, we'll see what happens, depending on what news comes up. Until then, man, take care, goodbye, and I'll see you next time. Adios, ciao. A la Madrid. Vamos. Vamos.